Welcome to this episode of Chalk Talk. In these talks, we talk to teachers about their teaching methods, the way they prepare for their classes, and the way they engage with students in the classroom and beyond it. Here they also share their insights into teaching learning methods. Today, our guest is Professor Neeraj Misra, who is a professor of statistics at IIT Kanpur. He's an awardee of Gopal Das Bhandari Award and the 1989 batch Faculty Award for use of technology in teaching. Neeraj, we welcome you to the Chalk Talk and thank you for accepting our invitation to share your views on teaching with us. Before we start our conversation, would you like to say a few words to our audience?
Yeah, thank you, Professor Hagola. First of all, I would like to thank the Certex for inviting me to this Chalk Talk. I believe that this is a very wonderful initiative where you invite different faculty members to share their thoughts on their experiments with the teaching. When I look at myself and I think of myself without IIT Kanpur, I find that there is nothing in me which is not part of IIT Kanpur. I consider myself to be the fortunate and very privileged one in the sense that I have spent almost all my life in IIT Kanpur. And IIT Kanpur is known for its contributions to the academic landscape of the country, which started way back in early 1960s. IIT Kanpur was the first institute to start a semester system. It was the first institute to start a relative grading. Above all, what was very distinct about IIT Kanpur in those early days was that the instructor in charge was given the sole responsibility of conducting a course. Nobody else would interfere into the conduct of a course. So that was a very distinct feature in early 60s where India was not used to this kind of a system where moderation was a very common thing. So yeah, I have received a wonderful education at IIT Kanpur. So whatever I am today, I am because of IIT Kanpur. So I feel privileged and honored when I'm invited to share my views on education at IIT Kanpur.
So thank you for sharing what all you think of IIT Kanpur. We'll start from when you were growing up here. You came to this institute when you were about 5 or 6 years old, or probably the institute was also about the same age. So share with us how it was like growing up in an institute at a place which was being set up by a very visionary director and with a very enthusiastic support from the US universities.
So to correct you, actually, when I came to this institute, I was 2 years old. I was 63 born. So in that sense, if I talk technically, I'm just 3 years younger to this institute, and in fact 2 years older to the two schools in the campus, which are the campus school and central school.
Okay. So I've heard people when they look back, they really, talk about IIT Kanpur and growing up here very, very fondly. That the kind of education they had, the kind of environment that was here. Can you share some memorable moments from that time?
So I will share my school education experience over here. So I started my schooling in 67. Campus school was established in 64. So I started my kindergarten in campus school. And I remember those days because IIT Kanpur, although it was established through an act of parliament in 1961, the CAP program immediately came into the picture. And CAP program started in 62. So what you'll find the environment in campus was, there was a lot of international presence all over the place in the campus. In terms of facilities, because of the CAP program, IIT Kanpur was one of the most modern campuses those time.
Yes.
As I said, campus school came up in 64, and this school was set up using the expertise of the wife of the first program leader of the KIAP. The name of the first KIAP program leader was Norman C. Dahl. His wife, Dorothy Dahl, was the one who prepared a concept paper for starting a school on the campus.
So just to let the audience know, Professor Dahl was from MIT and he has written a very famous book on mechanics of solids, which was used here also. So yes. Please continue.
So she prepared a concept note which was presented to the Board of Governors. Those of you who don't have a much idea about the history of IIT Kanpur, the first two chairman Board of Governors of IIT Kanpur were the chief ministers of the Uttar Pradesh. So it was the Chandrabahan Gupta, that time he was the chief minister and he was the chairman Board of Governors. The proposal was presented to him. And since the money had to come from the central government was approached and they immediately sanctioned money to initiate a campus school over here. Because of the KIAP program, we could get all the modern facilities in our schools those days.
So it must have been one of the best schools in the country at that time.
Certainly, because I remember our school had a separate nursing department which would basically take care of the health of the students.
Okay.
Because the school was planned not only for the faculty members, it was for the non-teaching staff members, and there was a lot of floating population.
Members meaning their children?
Children.
Yes.
And there was a lot of floating population also that time, because a lot of construction was taking place. So the campus school was meant to provide education even to them. So it was a very heterogeneous crowd as far as...
So we see that kind of thing even today, that when we talk of schooling, we are very open to children of all workers and everybody here. So probably seats were sown then.
It was the same even those days.
Yes.
The facilities in the school were amazing. The school even in 67, when I started my schooling, it had a 16 mm projector, right?
Okay.
In the science room of the department, which was unheard of anywhere in India. And it had a huge, rich collection of all those documentaries and science education based films, which were of course imported from US. So I experienced all those educational aspects of modern education in IIT Kanpur way back in 1967. Not only that, because it was not just about opening a school, it was thought that socially also this place would be very academically active. And we used to live in type 1 area those days. And I remember they immediately opened, because for small kids, they opened a small community center, okay, which had a closed circuit TV.
Which must have been one of the first TV in India.
In the country, right?
Yeah.
So those, and if you walk into the roads or streets, you will see all those fancy American cars all over, and a lot of American professors all over. So it was a wonderful experience.
So in this kind of environment that you grew up in, how did it shape your personality? Because this is a very special environment you're talking about.
So as I explained, the cohort within the campus was very heterogeneous. So you had faculty kids, a lot of them were US born. But at the same time, we also had kids from Dhobighat whose parents had a very minimal education. So interacting with such a heterogeneous group was in fact very useful in developing my personality, whatever I am today. So I'm very sensitive to the people who are not so privileged as we are. So that has really helped in...
So how that influence, partly you have said about your personality, but how that influence helped you become the kind of teacher you are?
So you see, while I was growing up, the education was considered not only the responsibility of few teachers in the school. I remember those days in this Western lab, there used to be the evening classes, which used to be run by our IIT Kanpur students.
Okay.
Now, when you saw all these motivated people really caring about yourself without any self-interest, that really motivates you to contribute something back to the society, being sensitive to the needs of the society. So that really helped in developing my personality.
Okay, and teacher that you are.
Certainly, because when you saw such motivated educationists in the campus, that really has an impact on your personality.
Do you recall any particular people in your youth, school days, or when you came to IIT to study, who influenced you and who kind of made you grow in a kind of person you are, kind of teacher you became later?
It's very difficult to pinpoint people, but I feel as a society, everybody contributed in its own way, whether it was Sisupal who came to this place as a driver.
Right.
He used to carry us, we were small kids, he used to carry us from the Typhoon area to the campus school in a bus. And he was like a grandfather or elderly Tauji kind of a figure. So that kind of a, so Sisupal is one example I gave, but examples are many. The school teachers were fantastic. The first principal, Jain Mattu, who was the principal of the campus school, he contributed a lot in developing this school. And of course, teachers were fantastic. All uncles and other
probably
people
all of them wanted children to get good education.
So there was some sense of a society
and community.
societal development, community development. So that way, I think everybody played an impact in whatever I have achieved today.
Wonderful. I mean, we've covered your younger days, and what appears to be the case that the environment here, the people here really helped you grow in a very, very positive way. Neeraj, we now come to your professional expertise, that is you being an academician, and your subject is statistics. So I start by asking, you and I are contemporaries.
Yeah.
And at that time, I remember statistics was not such a hot field. It was a very small thing in your high school grade. How did you choose statistics as a subject to go forward in your higher studies?
So that's an interesting question. You see, while I was doing my schooling in Central School, I was possibly one of the best mathematics students in my class. Mm-hmm. So I had kind of a strong aptitude to do mathematics. But that time I didn't realize that statistics could be a separate subject. Of course, we did a little bit of statistics and probability at the +2 level, but never realized that statistics would be a separate subject.
Something like counting, calculate average, things like that.
Basically preparing those frequency tables, that was only the part of the school education. Incidentally, although I had a good aptitude to do mathematics, I was not good in doing physics and chemistry. So JEE or any engineering education was really not my cup of tea. I finished my +2 from Central School. My parents were worried because they thought, what he'll do just with mathematics.
Right.
And that's what I keep saying, in your life, a few incidents happen, they change the course of your life. And it was a meeting of possibly half an hour. As I said, IIT Kanpur had a very strong community feeling.
Right.
So we had a very close friend who were also my relatives in the campus. So one of my elder sisters came to me, and she was equally worried as a community member that, Neeraj, you are so good, you're not doing engineering, you're not going to Delhi or other places for education. But you seem to be so good in mathematics. Why don't you take up statistics as a subject for your bachelor's? I didn't realize that statistics could be a separate subject. Then I went to the PPN college and took admission in statistics. And that one small incident where my sister comes to me and tells me that, why don't you take a statistics as one of the subjects along with mathematics?
You just went into the subject.
I just went into it.
Okay.
And that changed my whole academic profile. If you look at the bachelor's, I did extremely well. Then the same sister motivated me to pursue statistics program at IIT Kanpur. I was not aware that IIT Kanpur runs a separate master's program into statistics. So that's how I came into the statistics. And when I came to IIT Kanpur, that was an eye-opener for me. I never realized that your teachers could be so structured, so systematic, and the kind of education they provided, that was a game changer in my life. And that motivated me to do Ph.D. and pursue career in statistics.
So how's statistics different from mathematics? Is it a separate subject? Would you comment on that?
So statistics is basically dealing with the data. You have so the way I describe is, statistics, the whole science of statistics is about playing a game with the nature. So nature is very strange. It is predictable to the sense that through various physical laws it is predictable. But exactly predicting what is in the nature's mind is a difficult job. What you have in your story is some knowledge about the nature from your past experience, which is in terms of collecting the data.
Right.
About, the data about, for example, the weather forecast. So the statistics is all about using this limited information about the nature to predict what is there in the nature's mind.
Right.
So it's a game between the nature and statistician. That is how I try to describe statistics as a subject. Based on the limited information about the nature, trying to make inferences about the nature. Of course, while you are developing strategies to predict what is there in the nature's mind, you develop certain methodologies, certain procedures. And that is where to check how precise your procedure is, you need the knowledge of mathematics. To establish the optimality of your procedures, you need the knowledge of mathematics.
So you made a very interesting comment that you were good in mathematics, but physics and chemistry, you weren't so good in? Was it because of the teachers you were exposed to, or it was just your nature that you liked mathematics more than these subjects?
I won't say that it was because of teachers, because my same set of friends who were doing physics and chemistry, they did extremely well in physics and chemistry. Possibly I didn't have that kind of aptitude, because I think each of us have certain strengths. I think I had a strength of observing everything to a precision. Physics, I always felt when I used to read different laws, Newton's laws and all kind of, I could not relate to it because I was not able to observe it correctly.
Or what we say today, experiential learning. There is no experiential learning.
So that is, and so possibly that could be a reason when I try to look back, and because my other.
But what did you like in mathematics then?
Mathematics, I feel that if you have an aptitude to do mathematics, possibly you don't need teachers also, right? Your aptitude itself guides you to do good mathematics. So you don't have to observe, you have to, it's a very structured and systematic subject, which is based on certain axioms, certain laws. And if you see those axioms, if you understand those axioms correctly, there's a little possibility you will make an error. So, in nutshell, I would say that possibly my aptitude is more towards that abstractness,
the logical structure,
which is involved in mathematics.
So you did your schooling, you did your IIT, M.Sc, and then you started your career as a faculty member at Punjab University, Chandigarh. How long were you there?
Yeah, so that's again, I would say I was lucky that even while I was about to take my open seminar, I got a job offer from Punjab University. This Punjab University is one of the important academic centers in country. It was part of a erstwhile Punjab University in Lahore, which has produced one of the best minds in the country if you go back to the history. So it was a part of that Lahore University. After partition, it was opened in Chandigarh as a modern university. So if you look back, the record of Punjab University, it has produced the top physicists, top chemists, top mathematicians.
In fact, it had these centers of excellence at that time.
So yeah, there used to be a notion of advanced centers. So if you look at one point of time, the Punjab University had an advanced center for mathematics, advanced center for geology, advanced center for physics, advanced center for chemistry. So the research environment at Punjab University was extraordinary. Again, I was very lucky that I got a good mentor at Punjab University.
Again, somebody giving good influence.
Good influence on me. It was Professor Harsinder Singh. He is no more. He must have been at least 15 years elder to me. But when I joined IIT Kanpur, when I joined Punjab University, the kind of mentorship he's provided, which helped me to diversify into other research areas, which I had not read before joining Punjab University. So my stay at Punjab University was very useful in terms of the research.
And at that age, you were very hungry for new knowledge.
Yeah,
so it must have been
you
really
wanted
good.
to diversify to
Right.
different areas, and the whole academic environment was very, very nice over there. We were young. Even Saturdays, Sundays, our offices would be open, and we'll keep discussing things. And I developed very good collaborations at Punjab University. In terms of teaching, I think still that kind of, I think it was mainly because of the students, because finally it being a university, it caters to a large section of Punjab population, Haryana population, and to some extent some Delhi population. So I would say that teaching was not as challenging as what I observed in IIT Kanpur. Because IIT Kanpur, the students which you get were through a proper selection process.
So tell me one thing. I mean, we'll come to IIT Kanpur a little later, but it's very interesting that you say that Chandigarh, Punjab University at Chandigarh had very good research culture. We at IITs tend to think that it is IITs that brought the research culture into India. So they were really established as research universities, you think?
Yes, I think Punjab University was well established. For example, when I joined Punjab University Chandigarh, although statistics was a separate department, if you look at the mathematics department, Professor Bamba, who himself is a Padma Bhushan, or if I'm correct, he has at least 2 Padma awards. He was the vice chancellor of the university.
Right.
He himself was a distinguished mathematician. When I joined, there were already 4 to 5 Santi Swarup Bhatnagar awardees at Punjab University.
So what do you think with time happened to universities that somehow research started becoming not so good?
To put it very bluntly, I think this inbreeding in the university system has spoiled the whole university culture. So as the
So the areas do not grow. Same kind of work keeps going on.
same kind, because if you hire your own students,
Right.
For example, when I went to the Punjab University, I brought in something new, and I also got something new from there.
Yes.
But that was not the case if you hire your own students. What happens is, if your first generation is, even let us say it is very brilliant, second would be certainly not as good as the last one. It may still be very good.
Right.
So what happens is, even if you are very good at, let us say, in 70s or 80s, 2-3 generations down the line, if you hire your own people, the quality goes down.
Yeah. So after 3-4 years at Punjab University, you joined IIT Kanpur.
Yeah.
What difference did you see between the culture at Punjab University and at IIT Kanpur as a faculty member now?
So, as I said, my whole life until I joined Punjab University was inside this campus. So, this campus had a special magic on me. I loved everything about IIT Kanpur, because the kind of openness which was there in IIT Kanpur was unmatched. As a student, I had seen, when you are discussing academics, the one good thing about IIT Kanpur which I learned was, when you are discussing academics, individuals are forgotten. The arguments only matter. It doesn't matter the person is whether a director or even the very senior most professor who has established himself in the academic world. So that culture, I think, was very unique to IIT Kanpur, and I feel still it is very unique to IIT Kanpur.
Well, we have to preserve it.
Yes, that is a challenge. That is always a challenge, because and not only preserve it, we have to take it to the next level.
Yes.
So that's that kind of, and second thing is the kind of students we got. The classrooms used to be so thrilling. I still remember when I started taking these big courses, the core courses, every semester, minimum 4 to 5 nights would be the sleepless nights for me. And those nights will not get over, because one of the students might have asked a question which kept bothering me, and I'll not be in a position to get a very convincing answer in a day or two. Sometimes it might take even 4 or 5 days. And that engagement with your students used to be so thrilling, and in the process you used to learn so much.
Yes.
That how to communicate with the students, how to communicate even difficult notions to the students, what are the areas where students face problems. So it has been a very enriching experience.
So probably that journey at IIT Kanpur as a teacher made you evolve
Yes.
at a very, very
Certainly.
made you involved in a very nice way.
So even you see, I have more than 35 years of experience of teaching. Even when I now go to the classroom, there will be days when some of the students will really challenge you in the sense that you'll not be in a position to have an immediate answer to accept those notions at that level. So that forces you to do a lot of research.
And you're also
within-
learning
Certainly,
all the
you're
time.
learning because and as a consequence, you do a lot of research while how to do a good teaching.
Yes.
And that helps you in becoming a better teacher and doing kind of a research in teaching pedagogy as well.
So, I'll like you to talk a little bit more about it because we're talking about IIT Kanpur, and I'm also in love with this place. You've been a visiting faculty member at some of the best universities in Europe and in the US. How would you compare those with IIT Kanpur, and what do you think makes IIT Kanpur so special? Even if you want to repeat it, I would really love to hear it.
You see, I may be biased, but I still feel IIT Kanpur is one of the best places to do academics. If you're serious about academics, this is one of the best places. I think one of the reasons which distinguishes IIT Kanpur from the rest of the campuses across the world, this is totally a residential campus. So whether you're in office or even walking on a street, your prime conversation is about the academics. So whether it's a student you meet in a hostel or in a shopping complex, you talk about academics. So that kind of openness helps you in developing yourself as a good teacher, as a good academician, which I think is lacking. For example, I've taught at various US universities, certainly a lot of good work goes on, but your interactions are limited to those 5 days or 6 days. So Saturday,
And
Sunday,
7-8 hours per day.
Saturday, Sunday, you'd be totally cut off
Right.
from the main academic world, which is the university in this case. Whereas in IIT Kanpur, even if you're going for a party, you meet people and you will end up discussing something about academics. So that's very special about IIT Kanpur. So this Gurukul system, as we call it, I think very special to IIT Kanpur.
The way you describe IIT Kanpur and your interactions and your growing up, you being a student, you being a faculty member, I'd like you to connect the dots across everything. You also make statements about how KIAP came about, how institute grew, how we were helped by US universities. And then when we talk, outside during our walks, you have a sense of history of IIT Kanpur. How did you get interested in it?
Yeah, so that's again another very interesting question. As I said, I came to this campus as a 2 years old kid. I did my whole school education from kindergarten to 12th. So I have seen this institute evolving only from one side of it, which is because my father was a non-teaching staff member. So I had seen institute from only one perspective, which is from the perspective of
a kid growing up.
Ward of a staff member. I'll give you very interesting instances. One such instance is during the emergency time, I was doing schooling. And that was a time, there was, like anywhere in the India, there was a lot of disturbance inside the campus. A lot of faculty members were arrested during this emergency period. IIT Kanpur had established by 1970. All the infrastructure was intact, everything was there. Kelkar's term was over. Professor Muthanna took over as a director, who was a deputy director who played a very key role. He's not remembered. If I ever get a chance to write a history, I would be more fair to Professor Muthanna, who played an important role in building this institute.
Yes.
His name doesn't appear as frequent as Professor Kelkar's name. I think it was a good team of Kelkar and Muthanna. Muthanna was, if you remember, in 62, when this campus came up in Kalyanpur, nobody was willing to move to this campus.
Muthanna did.
Muthanna was the first person who volunteered that I'll move to the
And I hear that he used to go for walks early morning
Yes.
and visit all hostels.
Yes, yes. So if you ask any student of that time, he'll tell a lot of good stories about.
But you know, we are going beyond that. You seem to know a lot about history, and you say if you are given a chance to write history. So how did you get interested into all the history? And you also talk about history of higher education in India.
Yeah.
So how did this view grow? How did your interest grow into
So
all
I was
that?
about to complete that. So I grew up, so I knew only one side of it. So by 70s, I brought in Muthanna because by 1970s, the infrastructure at IIT campus was over. But that infrastructure came at certain cost. There were 600 or 700 contract employees of IWD.
Okay.
They were not employees of IWD. They were contract on a project because all these infrastructural developments were happening due to projects. So that came as a problem. A person who has given 10 years of his life to institute, now you say that my institute is built up, you leave this campus, was a big problem. So that brought in a lot of disturbance in the institute. So there were a lot of strikes, there was a lot of conflict between the administration and the non-teaching staff. And I remember I being a son of one of the non-teaching staff, I was a part of those agitations. I've seen those agitations.
Okay.
And I've also seen a time when I was raising slogans against the administrators at that time as a small kid. It was emergency time, and because emergency time there was rumor that there may be police may open fire,
Okay.
they may and there may be casualties in the campus because of emergency. So these all kits were used as a kind of
Shield.
a shield. I remember raising those slogans against the administrators of IIT Kanpur. But the same campus, the same institute provided me an opportunity to sit in the highest decision-making body of the institute, which is the Board of Governors.
Right.
So that is the kind of gifts I have got from IIT Kanpur. So when I became a faculty member, I realized that I'm missing on a lot of things about the history of the IIT Kanpur. I only know about a part of the history which is on the other side of the institute, which is from the eyes of the non-teaching staff members. When I started interacting with the faculty members, I started that there are a lot of dots which I'm not able to connect. And that kind of brought in an interest in me to know more about IIT Kanpur. In fact, I have a lot of stuff about IIT Kanpur. I have a lot of juicy stories about IIT Kanpur. So that's the reason I'm saying the history books which you see, they don't talk about juicy history.
Which is part of any institutes growing up.
Yeah. So that kind.
No, but then higher education in India, how did you get into that?
Because you see, IIT Kanpur, as I said, was a kind of a leading institute in bringing like a kind of transformations in the academic scenario in India. So that also kind of helped me in developing an interest that how other places were developing when IIT Kanpur was developing as a premier institute.
Right.
So that brought in kind of an interest. How IIT Kanpur was established, the only thing I know that there was an act, but what does act mean? How the education evolved in the country. Right. So I got interested into all those nitty. As I said, I have an aptitude to do mathematics, and mathematics, there has to be a systematic development, a structure. So that helped me in developing an interest. So
Neeraj, you have been honored with 2 awards this year for your teaching. The Gopal Das Bhandari Award and the 1989 Batch Faculty Award for use of technology in teaching. We'll talk about each of them one by one. The Gopal Das Bhandari Award is given by students. They vote for a faculty member. So obviously you had a very positive influence on them so that they remembered it until the time they graduated and they voted for you. So what do you do to engage with the students in the classroom so that this kind of influence is created?
So this, the quality of engaging with students, this I learned from IIT Kanpur itself. As I explained earlier, when I joined IIT Kanpur after my bachelor's, I was kind of surprised to see the kind of teachers which are available around, the kind of openness which was prevalent those days. You could walk into office of any teacher anytime. Despite my communication skills being not very good, I could hardly speak proper English. But that was always accepted, and instructors always encouraged me to ask any questions you feel like, however trivial that question may be. They were approachable all the time. They showed a lot of empathy. So all these, I thought that to be a good teacher. Then I started realizing why I respect these teachers so much. Then I realized I respect them because of these qualities. So that slowly I started developing that you should be approachable to the students. Assuming that all students would be motivated to do good academics is a false assumption. In fact, it's my responsibility to motivate them to study hard. So that kind of brought in a feeling that, look, you are also academic. If you have to have a right kind of academic environment, the teacher has to play a very important role. Just assuming that student will be motivated to study of his own is not a good strategy. You have to be very active in classroom. Your energy levels should be at the highest level so that any student sitting over there cannot ignore you.
Passion shows.
Yeah, passion should be there all the time. And your interaction with the student should not end up in the classroom itself.
So that's what we said. What do you do outside the classroom?
Outside the classroom. So I would discuss all kind of issues with students. I also was fortunate enough to be a part of Student Senate of IIT Kanpur when I was a student member over here. Then I realized that their student, sometimes I keep saying to some of my colleagues, I find Student Senate to be the more active than our academic senate of IIT Kanpur. So I learned, and then when as a student member of Student Senate, we used to go to the director or anybody. They were so receptive to our views. So that kind of a community feeling which we developed over here as a student as well as a faculty member made me to interact, get closer, much closer to students, understanding their issues, discussing their issues. Certain issues I may agree with whatever issues they are presenting. Sometimes I may not be agreeing with them. But that kind of a dialogue which I used to have.
There is a communication going on,
so that
back and
engagement
forth,
with all the time with students. And they knew that there are faculty members in the institute whom you can approach anytime and discuss anything you want.
So how do we, just a related question, how do we impart this to the newer faculty members? There appears to be, I'm also a pretty senior faculty member, a disconnect between faculty members who do all this and the newer faculty member. Maybe it's because of pressure to publish, maybe research pressure, but this thing has to be imparted. This is very unique to IIT Kanpur. Do you have any comments on that?
I think we all have a responsibility. A single person cannot change a system. Why we inherited all this? Because this all came as a collective ethos of IIT Kanpur, right? So as an institute, we have to develop ethos of a place, which of course IIT Kanpur excelled. And I feel that, frankly speaking, I feel that it's fading these days because the priorities have changed. Everybody is too much engrossed into the promotions, getting awards. So somewhere I feel that dilution of those ethos within the system.
Towards teaching, towards the students.
Teaching. So right now, for example, I used to say, I keep saying that one of the biggest asset of IIT Kanpur was nobody was judging each other. It was a peer pressure, one against the other, which makes you to work, which makes you to excel.
When you discuss academics in the corridors, yes.
It is only the dialogues which used to be there. The academics used to be the kind of a benchmark to decide whether one is excelling, one is not excelling. If somebody is excelling, it gives some motivation to others. Look, there is a peer pressure to go to that level.
Yes.
I think there's too much of award system and is good in certain sense, but it also comes with a package, and it also does a lot of harm, because then the whole academics is trivialized into getting few these awards. And so I think IIT Kanpur has to develop, like in the past it had its own ethos. We had to have our own signature, that this is a signature of IIT Kanpur.
This is IIT Kanpur.
Earlier, IIT Kanpur was known for not judging. That is why the instructor in charge was given the prime responsibility, that look, you are the God, you have to conduct a course. But how to bring accountability? The question comes, if you give that kind of power, that those questions arose those time also.
Yes.
How to bring in accountability? Yeah. The ethos which IIT Kanpur followed was accountability will bring through peer pressure.
Yes.
Not,
because
not
tutors
through,
could be your seniors also.
Not through judging them.
Right,
all the
right,
time.
right.
So that was very unique to IIT Kanpur. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. We now come to your 1989 batch award for technology. How do you view technology has been used and is going to be used in education?
I feel technology has a big role to play. You see, for example, we are very fortunate. We are studying IIT Kanpur. We study in IIT Kanpur. We are teaching at IIT Kanpur. We are sitting in this fancy studio. The rest of the country is not so privileged. To provide a quality education, I think this technology can play an important role, so that it reaches the people, the students, even in the very remote area. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is, within our system, we have a limited infrastructure. For example, if you look at few courses, right? Few courses are popular, right? And they are governed by the societal demands. Yes. I as a teacher cannot say that you have to learn this one, because there is also a societal pressure for them to learn certain subjects. It may be in terms of getting a good job or whatever. But that is how the things would remain. So few courses would be popular. For example, when I was the Dean of Academic Affairs, everybody wanted to do probability and statistics.
Yes.
7, 8 years, 10 years down the line, now everybody wants to do a course in AI, ML, data structures, and so on. But number of faculty members who can teach these courses are limited. For example, now batch size is 1300 or 1400, whatever that number is. Creating an infrastructure for 1300 or 1400 is a difficult job. So when I became a dean, I realized that I think if I am a learner, it should be my right to do any course which I want to do. And that is how myself, Prabhakar, and few others came up with the idea of this flipped classroom, right, where the infrastructure load is minimized, the demand of instructors is minimized, so you don't need 4
So you actually
hours.
introduce e-enabled learning.
So that was the purpose of bringing flipped classroom. It was experimented. I was the first one to introduce this in my MSO course 201.
So are you satisfied with the progress that it has made, or how do you see it evolving, or what would you say how it should evolve?
See, as I said, I'm a mathematician. Whenever I adopt a certain strategy, there is no Brahmastra which you can say would work in all the situations. Right. So every strategy is based on certain assumptions. When we talk about bringing technology in the education, the basic assumptions in learning are that a teacher is passionate about teaching and a student is motivated and interested in learning. The motivation part on the part of the student, their teacher's roles also comes into the picture. So I'm assuming that if you violate these assumptions, then anyway nothing will work, even the present system will not work. So if these two assumptions are satisfied, then you can take demand of these popular courses in a very, very optimal.
So you think the technology is actually going to play a big role in popular courses only, or it can help in other courses also?
You see, I'm totally an old school kind of a person. I feel one-to-one person interaction with the right kind of a teacher is the perfect thing you can have. But you say, I may feel that I'm a perfect teacher. But there may be better teachers, or there may be teachers who can give a different overview of a course or a topic. So that is where the technology can play a role. But even when that happens, you need teachers who can have a one-on-one interaction with the students. So that I feel would still be valued, right? One-to-one interaction with those physical classroom model. But wherever infrastructure's limitations are there, I think technology has to be used and should be used optimally. But I said those assumptions have to be fulfilled.
Neeraj, you talked about connecting with students, having this personal connection with them, talking to them. So, I prepare for my classroom, and for that, even with the best preparation, with that connection, first 3-4 classes are very important to develop that kind of a relationship with the students. And I still get nervous. Do you get the same feeling? And if you do, how do you overcome this? How do you make that connection?
So I think getting nervous is a natural tendency which would happen in a natural way. The way I teach courses is, especially in the first few lectures, I put a lot of emphasis on learning outcomes of the course. So I tell them, look, what you know so far. I try to understand what they know so far. Then I tell them, this course in what way add to whatever you already know so far, and how it is going to be useful. So connecting those dots between whatever they have done in the past and how the course, the present course, would be useful to them. So I spend a lot of time in connecting how different concepts of this course
would be
connected to the concepts which you already know,
Right.
and how the concepts which you already know have a certain limitations.
Right.
So those kind of connections I try to build up in the first few courses so that the
First few
learning
lectures,
objectives, the learning objectives are very
clear. Now tell me, in that regard, mathematics, particularly the formal aspects of it, can become very boring at times, particularly for engineering students, and they get demotivated. So how do you handle this when teaching core courses in mathematics?
So I'll go back to when I was a student. I also faced, like I said, this challenge was I also faced. What I realized was the main problem is the communication, the technical communication. So each subject has its own language, right? How to communicate within that, within the framework of that subject. I think making students to understand that language is a big challenge. It doesn't come in one day, or even a few courses. It has to be a continuous process. So what I try to do is, whenever I know that this will take time, for example, core course, especially if you look at the first course, Math 101. You see, they come through JE. JE, the whole emphasis is on doing the problem solving rather than understanding any abstract concepts. When they come to Math 101, they are totally first time exposed to abstract mathematics, which is totally so there is a different language which you speak over
That's
there.
what leads to demotivation a lot of times.
Right. So unless you tell them first that, look, this is only a language part of the course. The concept you have to explain them in a very simple words so that even a layman can understand. Then the question comes, how to translate which you have understood in the layman terms, how to translate this into a mathematical language.
Right. So you build up slowly.
So once a student has passed that barrier, then things becomes much simpler. When it becomes easier to teach, it becomes easier for a student to learn new concepts. So breaking that barrier of understanding the technical language related with that particular subject is a challenge.
So now we come to statistics, which is your area of expertise. And nowadays it is becoming a very popular course with the students, particularly because it is being applied everywhere. But most of the students have this approach: take the course, do the problems, get your grade, and move ahead. But as a passionate professor or passionate person of statistics, you have known its interesting genesis, the way it is applied across different fields. So you would also like to share those things. How do you balance the two in the class?
So that's again a very interesting question. And again, one has to do a lot of research how to teach a course like statistics. Basically, statistics is an applied subject. But the kind of courses we offer in IIT Kanpur, they are highly mathematical in nature. So first of all, you have to convey to the students that this being an applied subject, each theorem or corollary which you are doing has to kind of interpret it in a very applied sense. For example, statistics, everything boils down to dealing with the data somewhere. Right. Once you have understood the data, how to deal with the data, to draw inferences from the data.
What you keep calling the statistical thinking.
So yeah, so I keep saying that you have to develop a statistical thinking to understand all these concepts. So first you understand what this result is conveying statistically. Then proving that result or proving optimality, basically when we talk about proving mathematical results in statistics, it is basically about proving the optimality of different procedures or properties of different procedures. Then it turns out to be a mathematical exercise where you will need some training of mathematics, right? Of course, a good training of mathematics as well. So if you can break that barrier to understand what does a particular result mean statistically, which you can convey to even a common man. And I keep saying I have a popular talk on statistical thinking, and I keep saying that as a humans, we all do statistical thinking.
You're always making patterns and guessing what.
Guessing what. Even a e-rickshaw puller outside the IIT gate, he's doing some complicated statistics in his own way, because he has to make out that finally he has to make a good money at the end of the day.
So this is how you connect the students' course-taking motivation and your motivation.
And then I tell them that, look, if e-rickshaw puller is coming up with a procedure to optimize his profits, he's using this methodology or this inferential procedure. You cannot afford to do it because because he's not educated. He doesn't have that kind of a training which you have. As a statistician, you have to finally give the confidence intervals, how good your procedure is. So that all becomes a mathematical. To develop optimal procedures becomes that is where you need a training of mathematics. But anything which you do in statistics has to relate to the data inference.
Something applied.
Something to do with
So
the data.
tell me one particular area where statistics plays an important role, and it's very important for an institute like ours, where engineering training and technology studies are done, is quality control and reliability, because finally that engineering is related to the final products. Do we have any courses in those subjects, or if none, are we planning to have some more some courses?
I guess there may be few courses in mechanical engineering and the erstwhile IME department. In maths department, we have a course on an elective course, which again was developed by me, statistical reliability theory. So where we talk about various notions of how a system ages, different stochastic orders, how if you have to order two different systems in terms of their lifetimes or performance, how to order them. So we have a course which is more theoretical in nature, but I agree with your suggestion that we need to come up with more IDC kind of a courses where the maths, mechanical, DOMs, they can get together, which are more applied in nature. We deal with reliability engineering.
Probably the new department of data structures and statistics may.
So that is what our final goal is, to bring diversity in this statistics group. And that is where we are thinking of a notion of a statistical consulting center, where we would have faculty members from different engineering departments.
Okay, so something like interdisciplinary.
Interdisciplinarity, yeah.
Oh, very, very nice. So
that's a challenging thing because, but that's what our plan is.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in a nutshell, can you highlight what is the knowledge of statistics that is essential for STEM subjects?
So first of all, statistics, I think one has to understand, finally in today's world you cannot avoid statistics, right? It has infiltrated all the areas, right? Whether it's biology, chemistry, all the areas it has. So to begin with, what you need to know is just a basic knowledge of how to think statistically. For that purpose, I feel a basic course on probability and statistics would be good enough. Right now, we offer a course, MSO 201, if I am correct, which deals with two portions. The first part deals with the probability part of it. The second part, statistics, where we talk about the inferential procedures, the basic inferential procedures. So these are very basic courses, but they help you in developing statistical thinking.
Are you suggesting a core course in statistics and probability?
I would love to see this course as a core course compulsory for
All
everybody.
the students?
Of course, different people may have a different viewpoint. Somebody may say that no, a course on machine learning would be good enough to take care of it. But I differ from it because machine learning, you'll read all these statistical procedures in a single course. So machine learning can come after this, but a basic course on statistical thinking, which deals with the basic probability in statistics, should be compulsory. That's
So
what I think.
I'm very happy that you're talking about machine learning, because AI is really spreading into education sector, and it has both positive and negative impact on teaching and learning. How would you suggest we kind of develop a strategy or policy to deal with spread of AI, both its positive aspects and its negative impact on learning?
So I don't have a very precise answer for this. The only thing I know that AI is going to be with us, right? So that, and it's still evolving. How it would evolve in the next 10 years still is unimaginable. What kind of a challenges it will bring in. So certainly, if you look at last 20 years, the way AI has moved, our education system has not moved that fast. So that is going to be a challenge for us, how to cope up with the progress which is made in the sector of AI and ML. How the whole education scenario changes with it, because it will bring in a lot of challenges in terms of how to evaluate now. Your evaluation strategy has to change, because whatever you do, if a student has a chat GPT available to him.
So how do you really see the future of education evolving, both in terms of its content and the teaching learning process?
I think we have to adopt these AI tools. We have to kind of incorporate those into our education and use them as a tool to bring in changes in the existing educational system. I haven't thought seriously over it, but I think there is a need for a collective effort to think in that direction. I feel that there should be a separate department, maybe a department in education within the institute,
Which thinks about these
things. About
I mean,
these
certainly
challenges.
we are trying to fill the gap to some extent.
Yeah, no, but a department dedicated to the challenges which AI would bring. Of course, CERTEX, I think, has a mandate which this could be a part of it.
Yes.
But I think for that you need a dedicated.
Yes. So in the future we do have a plan that we evolve into a department, but that is third stage.
Yeah, education.
Third stage.
Yeah, where you need experts who are experts
Who are dealing
in education.
explicitly with this. So in that, when you're talking about AI and all this education evolving, do you think currently we have a practice of revision of our curriculum every 10 years, UGRC or ARC comes into picture? Should we reduce the time to 5 years, or is there any other way we can keep evolving our courses according to the times?
So I would be slightly critical on the present practice right now. As I said, the ethos really fade away with time. Mm-hmm. If you look at IIT Kanpur, IIT Kanpur always felt that we would have two kind of courses. A few courses, especially at the core level, which would be very structured courses. As you advance later for the professional courses, slowly we'll move from structured to unstructured. Right. And when you come to the postgraduate programs, there would be more unstructured programs. They would be more department-centric and so on. So as far as core courses are concerned, if you recall, you have been a student at this place, there used to be a notion of a course file.
Yes.
And this course file would be passed from one instructor to the other instructor. So that way a review of courses was taking place continuously.
And it was evolving.
Evolving. So one instructor will talk to the other. Then there would be a set of tutors who would actively participate in the conduct of the course. So these courses were evolving on a continuous basis. And then what used to happen is after 10 years, when there is a major review, you already have a lot of input.
Right.
Which has evolved continuously over a period of time. So you would see that those reviews were very meaningful. What I have observed, at least in the last 2 reviews, it comes as a standalone exercise after 10 years. Then
Then everything is static after
few
that?
of us will sit in a room and in whatever period of time we'll recite something and imagine that this is going to solve all the problems. I think that's not a good strategy. There has to be a mechanism to evolve courses continuously through feedback from students, through feedback from various tutors, especially in the core courses. Professional courses, if there is slightly unstructured,
I mean, that's fine. I mean, instructors do take care of that because they are doing research in that area in any case.
So one can make it 5 years, that's no problem. But I think even if you make it 5 years, that will not solve the problem because that continuity will still
Somewhere
not be there.
we have to get back to those good practices that used to be there.
Yeah.
So finally, Neeraj, what message with all this would you like to give to our faculty members who are starting their career now? In particular, how can they make their teaching more effective and engage students in a meaningful way?
Yeah, that's a very political question. So the message which I would like to give is, first of all, adopt this IIT Kanpur as your place. You get the best facilities, even means I visit other IITs, I see the academic culture at other IITs, and I can say with a lot of pride that the kind of academic environment which prevails at IIT Kanpur is unmatched. The kind of freedom you get in IIT Kanpur is unmatched. Here still, if you are teaching a course, you are the boss of the course. Director cannot intervene. He cannot question how many A's you have given, how many B's you have given, how many C's you have given.
But it comes with some responsibility.
So what I'm saying is, while that is happening, don't think it's very special about IIT Kanpur. This value system has evolved over a period of time. Our ancestors have earned this, that look, instructor in charge will not be challenged unless there is a blatant, wherever there is a gray area, the benefit of doubt would always go to the instructor. So keep that in mind, that this freedom which you get over here has not come for free. It has been earned through a very hard work. If we don't handle it responsibly, I'm afraid that this may go away. If there are more cases of blatant fundamental violations of conduct of courses, this freedom which we have enjoyed for so long and still enjoying it, this may go away. So take all your professional duties with full ownership of the place. I still remember missing a class was unimaginable in IIT Kanpur. Even if I know there were cases where an instructor was for some reason was not able to take a class, he would request his colleague that go and take a class on my behalf, explain that these are the topics are to be covered. One may say that is possibly too idealistic in today's world, but if we cannot completely follow it, we should try to at least aim towards it. Otherwise, if these values are kind of diluted, the kind of freedom which we enjoy at IIT Kanpur, which doesn't exist at a lot of other places. At IIT Kanpur, I remember there have been cases where an instructor has given all A's, and casually a director asked him, "What are you doing?" He says he didn't have a better grades to give. That's why he has given A grades to everyone. So there would be few exceptions, but those were taken because in such a large system there would always be
there'll always be exceptions.
As long as overall on an average system is working well. That's the kind of principle which is followed at IIT Kanpur.
So on that note of acting responsibly when taking your classes, we end this conversation. Neeraj, it has been a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for spending time with us.
It was a pleasure and honor to be here.